Have you ever felt that despite all the progress and freedom we've achieved, something is deeply wrong with the world today? You might have experienced this unsettling feeling without being able to put a finger on it. Well, the truth is that we live in a time of unprecedented progress. We have more freedom than our ancestors could have ever dreamed of. We can express ourselves, consume whatever we want, produce, connect with anyone, anywhere, anytime. And yet, deep down, beneath the surface of our daily lives, a profound disquiet seems to simmer. Despite all the opportunities around us, we find ourselves distracted, anxious, lonely. Reality itself, or what we call reality, seems to have been tampered with, subtly manipulated to the point that it no longer feels quite right. The most alarming part, your mind may no longer belong to you. The essence of humanity has always been intertwined with the concept of freedom. From the ancient Greeks to the Enlightenment thinkers, the idea of liberty has inspired revolutions, shaped laws, and driven societal progress. Yet, paradoxically, in this age of unparalleled freedom, we seem to be losing our minds. Our minds, once the seat of our autonomy and individuality, are now vulnerable terrains where invisible algorithms, prepackaged narratives, and constant stimuli wage a relentless battle for dominance. More than ever before, our decisions, beliefs, and even emotions are at stake in this silent warfare. In his groundbreaking work, The Art of Thinking Clearly, Rolf Dobelli explores the hidden traps that distort our thinking. Among these cognitive errors is one that holds particular relevance in our current context: belief in truth. Dobelli reveals that humans are prone to accepting statements as true simply because they are presented repeatedly, regardless of their actual veracity. This phenomenon is especially prevalent in modern times where we're bombarded with an incessant flow of information. But it's important to ask, who's doing the programming? Who decides which narratives become ingrained in our minds? Today, our minds are shaped by invisible forces that operate beneath the surface of our awareness. One of the most insidious tactics employed in this mental conditioning is the creation of fear. Fear becomes the tool used to manipulate us into accepting narratives that may not be entirely true. By instilling fear, those in control can manipulate us into relinquishing some of our freedoms in exchange for perceived security. It's a subtle psychological game where we willingly surrender our autonomy, believing we're acting in our best interest. Another tactic is distraction. In an age of instant gratification, our attention spans have been steadily eroded. We're constantly bombarded with a barrage of stimuli, each vying for our fleeting attention. Social media, streaming services, and an endless array of digital distractions have become the norm. This constant distraction serves to fragment our focus, making it difficult to see the bigger picture. When our minds are scattered, it becomes challenging to connect the dots and recognize the subtle manipulations taking place around us. One of the most pervasive tactics employed in this reality hack is the use of prepackaged narratives. These narratives, often presented as self-evident truths, are designed to bypass critical thinking and emotional intelligence. They're the sound bites that dominate our news feeds and conversations. These narratives shape our perceptions of the world, influencing how we view others and making it easier for us to accept information at face value without questioning their deeper implications. But why is this so concerning? Why should we care about the state of our minds in this day and age? The answer lies in understanding the profound impact our thoughts have on our lives. Our thoughts shape our actions, our relationships, and ultimately, our reality. When our minds are clouded by manipulation and misinformation, we become susceptible to making decisions that don't align with our true interests. We might find ourselves supporting systems or ideologies that ultimately harm us in the long run. Moreover, the erosion of our mental autonomy can lead to a loss of identity. As we internalize narratives that are not our own, we risk losing sight of our unique perspectives and beliefs. This can result in a sense of alienation and disconnection from our authentic selves. It wasn't always this way. The seeds of this problem were sown long ago, reaching deep into the core of our modern existence. To truly understand the depths of this issue, we must trace its roots back to the heart of modernity itself. The advent of modernity marked a significant turning point in human history. It brought with it sweeping changes in how we view the world and our place in it. But within this progress, a fundamental shift occurred: the disintegration of traditional values, beliefs, and communities. Prior to modernity, individuals were deeply embedded in social structures that provided a sense of belonging and purpose. Religion, tradition, and community were integral parts of people's lives, offering a framework for understanding the world and one's place in it. However, the rise of modernity challenged these age-old foundations. New ideologies, scientific advancements, and a growing emphasis on individualism began to erode the relevance of traditional narratives. This left a void in people's lives, a sense of meaninglessness that permeated through society. As traditional anchors were lost, people found themselves adrift in a rapidly changing world. The absence of clear direction and meaning led to a crisis of identity and purpose. This internal struggle was further compounded by the external pressures of a changing world. The Industrial Revolution, urbanization, and the rise of mass media all contributed to a sense of alienation and disconnection from one's roots. People were confronted with the complexities of a modern world that seemed to be moving at a relentless pace. This period of transition was emotionally and psychologically taxing. Many grappled with feelings of isolation, anxiety, and uncertainty about the future. The breakdown of traditional support systems and the lack of clear direction led to a widespread search for new sources of meaning and belonging. It was during this time that new ideologies, movements, and distractions began to take root. These offered individuals a sense of community and purpose, but often came with their own sets of rigid beliefs and dogmas. For instance, the rise of mass political parties and organized labor unions provided a sense of solidarity and collective action. People found solace in numbers, in the belief that through collective action, they could navigate the complexities of the modern world. Similarly, the emergence of new religions and cults offered individuals a chance to reconnect with something greater than themselves. These groups provided ready-made answers to life's existential questions and a sense of belonging that was increasingly hard to find in mainstream society. Furthermore, the advent of mass media and entertainment played a crucial role in shaping people's minds. As newspapers, radio, and later television became ubiquitous in the average household, new forms of escapism emerged. People found solace in fictional worlds that offered an escape from the harsh realities of everyday life. This growing reliance on distractions as coping mechanisms laid the groundwork for the reality hack that would come to define much of the 20th century. And then came the final piece of the puzzle: fear. Fear became the social glue that bound these tendencies together, solidifying the reality hack that was taking hold of people's minds. This fear wasn't necessarily of a tangible, immediate threat, but rather a more nebulous, pervasive anxiety about the complexities of modern life. It was fear of being left behind, of not fitting in, of not having the right answers. This pervasive fear turned people into willing participants in their own mental conditioning. In a world where traditional anchors were being pulled away and new ones weren't yet firmly established, fear became the driving force that pushed people towards readily available solutions. It led them to seek solace in pre-packaged narratives, unquestioningly follow leaders who promised easy answers and embrace distractions that offered temporary relief from the turmoil within. Thus, the reality hack was complete. Through the combined forces of modernity's internal struggles, the allure of external distractions, and the manipulation of fear, a significant portion of the population found itself trapped in a cycle of uncritical acceptance and escapism. Their minds, once fertile grounds for independent thought and critical analysis, were now increasingly becoming terrains where external forces held sway. If this resonates with you, know that you're not alone. there are ways to reclaim your mind from the grip of this reality hack. It starts with recognizing the tactics at play and consciously choosing to resist them. Cultivating a habit of deep reading, engaging in thoughtful reflection, and embracing solitude are powerful starting points. Questioning the narratives that are presented to you, seeking diverse perspectives, and forming your own opinions are crucial steps. Reclaiming your mind is a journey, not a destination. It requires ongoing effort, patience, and courage. But the rewards are immense. As you break free from the shackles of external programming, you'll rediscover the richness of your inner world, the beauty of independent thought, and the power of authentic self-expression. Remember, the world is yours to shape. Your mind is your canvas. What will you create?